in Torno. Statement said 2 infants died during their prolonged captivity. Audio courtesy of the Nigerian Army. I'm Haya Pinchwani.
Chinese President Xi has arrived in Pyongyang. It's his first visit to North Korea in 7 years. The trip is likely meant to reassert China's influence over North Korea, which has been moving closer to Russia in recent years. Xi's 2-day visit starts today, expected to hold a summit with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. News and analysis, townhall.com. Could work requirements lift more public aid recipients out of poverty? There's a new study takes a closer look at that question.
Research by Casey Mulligan, an economist with the Department of Health and Human Services, finds adding work requirements to Medicaid could lift between 1.6 and nearly 3 million people out of poverty. The study says families could see incomes rise by more than $12,000 as more recipients enter the workforce. Supporters argue work rules encourage self-sufficiency and stronger labor participation. Ken Lorman reporting.
Apple is expected to unveil new artificial intelligence features at the annual developers conference, which gets underway later today. It is the final worldwide developers conference. It will feature Tim Cook as CEO. He'll be turning over the CEO reins to John Turnus, that in September. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Play one commercial.
WVBF is your hometown radio station. And one of the things we like to do to support people in your hometown is to run community announcements. If you do belong to a nonprofit group or organization, or if you're an official with a city or town government, send your community announcements along to our email address. It's safe, it's fast, and allows us to get right back to you. Send your community announcements to WVBF1530@hotmail.com. That's WVBF1530@hotmail.com. Thank you for listening. Your hometown radio station is AM 1530, WVBF, and 99.7 FM. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests.
It's time for Middleboro Matters on WVBF 1530 AM and 99.7 FM. Hosted by Joey Driscoll. Call in at 508-822-1106. And now, here's Joey Driscoll with Middleboro Matters.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome to Middleboro Matters. I am Joey Driscoll, and we're going to get right into it today. This is Middleboro Matters for Monday, June 8th, 2026. Open phone lines today, 508-822-1106. We're going to open the show here today. We're talking about some music, a little bit of a music recommendation, plus a little bit of just a music topic in general. And that music topic is Rush. Rush has begun their 50-something, pretty much world tour. It's going to be going through 2027, I believe by April of 2027. Probably more tour dates to come, past that too, I would assume. But they started last night at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, and they had the set list as well for the tour, for this tour date here from last night. Of course, they have a drummer that they have slotted in here to this tour. 22 songs played during the 3-hour show. Pulled a lot of them from the first album. A lot of them from like 4 decades as well. And they have a very good lineup here for this 50 something tour here. And let's just kind of quickly tell you about that. Geddy Lee and, of course, Alex Lifeson are the two lead members. Of course, Geddy Lee on lead vocals, bass guitar. He does keyboards, he does synthesizer. Alex Lifeson is on guitar, he does backing vocals as well. The new member in the band, new drummer, Neil Peart, unfortunately, he passed away in 2013, I believe. And the drummer they have for this tour here, this is their first tour in about 10 years, 11 years or so. Annika Niles is on drums here as well. And also they have an additional musician also on this tour, Lauren Gold, keyboards, piano, synthesizer, backing, vocals as well. And Lauren Gold has been a touring keyboardist for several big bands, of course, now Rush, The Who, Chicago, Kenny Loggins, Robert Daltrey, Don Felder. So he has a lot of experience there on the keyboards for tours. So again, yesterday was the start of this tour. And the set list for this was as follows: Xanadu, Limelight, of course, from Moving Pictures. Great album, great track, Limelight. Far Cry, off of a newer album, actually. I don't recognize this song. I don't know Snakes and Arrows too well. So that's a newer album, 2007 album from Rush, Far Cry. They're, of course, one of their hits, Subdivisions. They played that off of Signals. They played Free Will, which is a great song. Bravado, which is off an album that a lot of Rush fans, I feel like this album, I'm sure. I do. I'm a Rush fan. I like this album. I think it's an underrated album. Roll the Bones from 1991. Bravado is off that album. They did that at the show last night. Caravan, which is off of their last record, their last studio record. Clockwork Angels. That's a great record. I recommend everyone check that out, especially if you're a Rush fan. Definitely listen to that because that's a great record. That's from their last studio album. Some other stuff they did. Vital Signs, another great track off of Moving Pictures. The last track, actually. La Villa Stringiato. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. 1978 Hemispheres album that was off of. Subtitled as An Exercise in Self-Indulgence, and was the band's first entirely instrumental song. They also played another instrumental song on this show last night, and we'll get to that in a second. Spirit of Radio, they played that. Awesome track. One of my favorites. They did play 2112. They didn't play the entire 2112, which... okay, I understand. 21-minute song. Just about, a little under that. I get it. They did play Overture. They played Temples of Ceres, Grand Finale as well. They played that too. Of course, that's off of 2112. Distant Early Warning, they played that. Red Barachetta, they played that. Dreamline, that was another one off of Roll the Bones. They played that one. They played Natural Science, Time Stand Still. Another personal favorite of mine they played last night from the Grace Under Pressure album, Red Sector A. I've talked about that track several times. Me and Don talked about that track on Middleboro in review before. It's a really good track. Absolutely. If you're not, you've heard of Rush but haven't checked out all of their albums, Grace Under Pressure, definitely an album that you should check out. Red Sector A, definitely a song on that album you should check out. YYZ, again, I mentioned the other instrumental that they played in this one. YYZ, that was the one that they played. The Garden, which is an amazing track off of 2112, off of 2012's Clockwork Angels. There we go. That's the closing track on the album. That's a great track as well. Tom Sawyer, they played that. By Tour and the Snow Dog, that was a good one as well. And Working Man. That is your set list for last night's show. Great list of songs there. And the tour is obviously going to continue. They still have 3 nights at the Kia Forum as well coming up with the upcoming couple of tour dates there. The 9th, the 11th, and the 13th. Then they're going to go to Mexico for a couple of tour dates. Then back to the States, Fort Worth, Texas, Chicago, Illinois, New York. They have 4 tour dates at Madison Square Garden from the 28th of July to the 3rd of July. 4 tour dates there. They'll play in Philly. They'll play in Toronto, of course. They'll play in Quebec. They'll play across Canada, obviously. They're a Canadian band. They'll play across Canada. Several different tour dates there in Canada. They will be at TD Garden this September 12th and the 14th as well. They'll be at the nation's capital for 2 tour dates in October. Another opportunity to go see them locally, somewhat locally, is in Uncasville, Connecticut in October 30th and November 1st. Then, they're going to be doing quite a few tour dates again in Canada in December, Alberta and British Columbia. Then that's where they're going to go overseas after that. South America, of course, they'll do tons of tour dates in London and Manchester, Glasgow as well, Germany. So this tour, the last tour date is April 10th, 2027, as of right now. I'm sure there will be more tour dates added to this tour. So there you go. And another thing I want to mention here in the music segment here, before we move on, and we'll take our first commercial break after I talk about this, and then we'll move on to something else, local stories. By the way, open phone lines, 508-822-1106, 508-822-1106 if you want to call in. Are you excited for Rush's 50-something tour? Are you planning? Are you a Rush fan? Are you planning on going to one of these tour dates? Maybe the TD Garden ones, maybe the Mohegan Sun ones. Let us know. 508-822-1106 is the number. Another thing I want to mention here for our music recommendation segment is I talked about Deep Purple. They have a new album coming out. It's going to be coming out very soon. Talked about the first single off of that record, Arrogant Boy, and that was a really good track. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Well, they have a second single that came out this past week, and it's just as good, if not better, than Arrogant Boy. It's Diablo. That's the name of the song, and what a song it is. Very, definitely punchy, a little bit heavy as well. Guitar work is awesome on it. And also, it features a guest musician, Keith Urban, on guitar. One of the guitar solos from Keith Urban. Very, very good track. Deep Purple's Diablo, and that will be on the new album. as well. So that is your music segment there. Again, if you have any thoughts on this segment, 508-822-1106, 508-822-1106 is the number to call. 11:20 a.m. Let's take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back. Okay, good. Still going. Perfect. All right, tape is running good. Perfect. That's what I want to see. I don't want to suddenly not record anything halfway through.
That would be a problem.
That would be terrible.
Hi neighbor, Middleboro Gas and Electric would like to share a quick safety tip with you. Whether you're planting shrubs or putting in a new mailbox, DigSafe will help locate underground pipes and wires on your property and mark them to help prevent any damage. Before you dig, you must call 811 for any project that requires digging, drilling, excavating, grading, or trenching. A damaged gas line may create an explosion hazard that could result in loss of service, severe property damage, or worse. Don't take a chance. Call 811 before you dig.
Hi, I'm Chris Keach of the Morning Wake Up News here at WVBF. My good friend Joey Driscoll has an amazing program all about Middleboro, Sunday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's called Middleboro in Review. He talks about sports. He talks about local events in Middleboro and anything of interest in Middleboro and beyond. So join him, Middleboro in Review with Joey Driscoll, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. only here at AM 1530 WVBF and at 99.7 FM.
And we are back, 11:22 a.m. here. Before we go on to our previewing of the Raynham Monday Summer Fun Run, we did preview it yesterday, but I want to preview it again here today because it's happening tonight. I believe it's number 6, I believe, or 5 of the Summer Fun Runs here, and we'll preview that. Before we do so, as I did yesterday on Middleboro in Review, all I'm going to do here on Middleboro Matters, quick shout out and congratulations to all of the Middleboro High School graduates for the class of 2026. I remember my graduation 9 years ago on June 3rd, 2017. 9 years ago that happened. The venue for the graduations has changed vastly since then. Of course, you got a new school. Now it's outside as well, which must have been nice. I remember my graduation. I talked about it yesterday. It was in a gym. It was very hot, uncomfortable at times. So, yeah. But again, it was a fun morning. It was a fun and memorable morning. That was 9 years ago this past week for me. The class of 2017, I'm a part of that there. But I want to congratulate the class of 2026 here for Middleboro. So there we go. The Raynham Monday Summer Fun Run will be tonight. Friendly, easy course through residential neighborhood and open roads, open country roads. Perfect for beginning and intermediate runners who are just starting their running life. Sign up and parking. That's going to be a park and rec office of Raynham, 2258 King Philip Street, a few yards off of Route 104 South Main Street near the Taunton and Raynham line on Route 44. Weekly entry, that's $2, cash only, no checks, no credit cards. Sign up one time the first time you come to one of the fun runs. And after that, every time you come to another fun run, you just toss another $2 into the can at the sign-up table, and then you use the same bib that they got you the first time you came. Every time you go to another summer fun run in Raynham. Registration's at 6 p.m. this evening. The race starts at 6:30 p.m. And again, rain or shine, we're not looking at any rain today, so should be safe from the rain. Not looking at any rain today. It will be a little cloudy tonight, and a little cloudy throughout the day, but no rain in the forecast. Starting line is a short walk from the sign up and parking on South Main Street near the corner of King Philip and South Main. Finish line is back where you signed up and parked. There will be water and Gatorade awaiting you there. Sidewalk and bike lane for mile 1, which is South Main Street. Sidewalk and runner lane after that, North Main Street. One hill on Gardner Street. Mile 2 leading up to the turn, and at the top of the hill onto King Philip Street. The last leg is along open farmland and athletic fields. This is sponsored and organized by the Colonial Road Runners Club. And no, you do not have to be a member to join. You don't have to be a member to run out at the Raynham Summer Fun Run. Come down and enjoy a run, whether you are a track star or just looking for a nice 5K with family. Many youngsters do run with their parents as well. All abilities are welcome. Beginners, walkers, moms and dads with strollers, and many more. And also, remember, this is a fun run, not a tryout for the Olympics. Just have fun at the Summer Fun Run there tonight if you go. Again, it's open to all levels of runners. Again, we talked about people who have run marathons that have come to the Raynham Summer Fun Run. So it's an interesting and fun event for the entire family. So there you go. Wanted to definitely talk about that and mention that. That is tonight. Another thing we'll talk about and mention here as we get towards 11:30 a.m. Saw that Dartmouth had a town meeting. Ron was talking in the last hour on his show about the cryptocurrency thing as well, the Bitcoin machines. Those were banned in Dartmouth. They had their town meeting. Those were banned in Dartmouth. Middleboro banned them. Lakeville has a town meeting tonight. That's on the agenda. Most likely they will vote to ban them. These are all in like the past week and a half. There has been definitely a acceleration in looking at that and kind of banning those because really all I've seen with the Bitcoin machines, and not to hate on Bitcoin, but all I've seen with the Bitcoin machines, everything that I've seen online about it is negative. And when it comes to scams, it's a really big tool that scammers use. It's unfortunate that happens. But taking away that vehicle of scamming for scammers is going to go a long way to lowering the amount of scams that are going on. So I think this is positive in the long run that stuff like that this happens. So that's just my opinion on it. If you have a different opinion, 508-822-1106 number if you want to call in. If you have a different opinion on it there. as well. But Lakeville Town Meeting is tonight. That'll be on the agenda. There's a lot on the agenda for the Lakeville Town Meeting tonight. So if you're in Lakeville, definitely go to it as well. There will be a Christian artist that will be performing in Middleboro coming up on Sunday. That is Jamie Kimmett. He returns to the Central Congregational Church in Middleboro. That's Sunday, June 14th at 9 to 11 a.m. 9 and 11 a.m. to lead a time of worship. He has toured with Casting Crowns, Zach Williams, Lecrae for King and Country, and other artists. His EP, Prize Worth Fighting For, has had millions of streams. The services are free and open to all. The church is located at 2 Webster Street. For more information, you can call Pastor Bruce Smith at 508-947-1256 or Pastor Doug Forbes at 508-923-9724. Again, that is Bruce Smith at 508-947-1256 and Doug Forbes, 508-923-9724. When we come back from our I almost said vacation, our news segment, here we go, coming up here, we'll talk about Free Vacation Bible School that's also being scheduled as well. But we will take our news break and we'll be right back.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Anna Thomason. It may have been the biggest challenge yet to the fragile Mideast ceasefire. Iran fired missiles at Israel. Israel fired back.
Israel says it targeted sites in western and central Tehran. And in Iran itself, state media report blasts around the capital Tehran, Isfahan, Karaj, and elsewhere in the country. It remains unclear exactly what the damage is or if anyone was killed in these strikes.
Correspondent Jonathan Gambrell says that both sides now say they're through attacking each other, at least for the time being. President Trump had been trying to get both sides to quit the fighting. Oil prices, which were on the rise, have since fallen back. $4.16 a gallon is today's AAA national average for regular gas. That's down 1 cent from yesterday. President Trump plans to attend this evening's NBA Finals at New York's Madison Square Garden. As expected, security is being tightened, especially given last night's incident just downstairs from the Garden.
Authorities say 6 people have been hurt in stabbings at New York's Penn Station with the suspect in custody. The Sunday evening attack happened less than a day before thousands of fans are expected to descend on neighboring Madison Square Garden for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. A suspect was taken into custody after the attack, which unfolded in one of the nation's busiest transportation hubs. The city's fire department says paramedics found 1 victim with serious injuries, 2 with moderate injuries, and 2 with minor injuries. Another person whose condition was not immediately known was transported to a separate hospital. Authorities did not immediately release the suspect's identity or provide information about potential charges. I'm Hayathan Morning.
On Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow is up 239 points, while the Nasdaq is ahead 438 points for a gain of well over 1.5%. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime, and you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care, fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
The southern Philippines has been rocked by a powerful and deadly earthquake.
This was the scene at an elementary school when the earthquake struck at around 7:30 in the morning. The children were outside at the time for their morning assembly. Video shows them being shaken from side to side as they crouch on the ground, their teachers urging them to stay down and keep calm. Elsewhere in General Santos City, several buildings collapsed, and the authorities issued tsunami warnings, ordering anyone near the coast to move to higher ground. Residents have been told to stay out of their homes until they've been checked and declared safe.
The BBC's Jonathan Head, a Philippine official, says at least 32 people were dead, mostly due to an earthquake-triggered landslide. Chinese President Xi has arrived in Pyongyang, his first visit to North Korea in 7 years. News and analysis, townhall.com. It was a French Open that was full of surprises. It wrapped up with the world's third-ranked men's player securing his first major.
Alexander Zverev is no longer one of the best players never to win a major and is finally a Grand Slam champion. In his four major finals, Zverev beat Flavio Caboli 6-1, 4-6, 6-4, 6-7, 6-1 for the French Open men's title Sunday. It was a unique opportunity for Zverev without Jannik Sinner or Carlos Alcaraz across the net, and the third-ranked German took full advantage on the red clay of Roland Garros. The 14th-ranked Caboli
it's Sinner and Alcaraz. And then this guy, way down here in third.
Saturday. I'm guessing cool.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin has won at Michigan International Speedway, earning his second consecutive NASCAR Cup Series victory from the pole position. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, neighbor.
Good job, Denny.
Would like to share a quick safety tip with you. Many people have been taking on home improvements this year, but have you also upgraded your electrical safety system? Older homes, like so many in our area, have outdated breakers and wiring that may not meet the high-powered needs of modern technology. A licensed electrician knows all the code requirements, including the latest updates adopted just last year. You can find an easy-to-read summary of home upgrades to consider at mged.com.
Voices of Our Region is a live, community-centered radio program that explores the rich cultural histories and contributions of the diverse populations that have shaped southeastern Massachusetts. It's hosted by Louis Laura Fridays and airs from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at AM 1530 and 99.7 FM WBBF. Join Louis for some great hometown conversations, stories, and interviews with people about the traditions that continue to define our area. That's Voices of Our Region with Louis Laura from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on your hometown radio station, WBBF.
Still good there. And welcome back to Middleboro Matters. Open phone lines 508-822-1106. 508-822-1106 is number to call if you want to call in, talk about what is on your mind, or talk about what I've discussed here so far on the show as well. So 508-822-1106 is that number. There will be a free vacation Bible school that will be scheduled. Children ages 3 through grade number 6 are invited to a free vacation Bible school at the Central Congregational Church, which is at 2 Webster Street in Middleboro. That is June 29th to July the 2nd from 9 to 11:30 a.m. This year's school is titled Emerald Crossing. will provide an Irish adventure, Psalm 23. The school will include music, games, crafts as well, Bible stories, snacks, and other features. For more information or to register, you can contact Pastor Bruce Smith. There we go. I combined Bruce and Pastor for some reason. Pastor Bruce Smith, there we go, at 508-947-1256, or Pastor Doug Forbes at 508-923-9724. So there you go. There. Now, another thing going on here now on the show here, we're going to talk quite a bit about some sports here, as we're entering a pretty interesting week here in sports, a very important week in sports, especially internationally. It's the FIFA World Cup. I'm going to get to that in just a second, but we're going to start locally. As I mentioned, and you've been hearing me mention quite a few times this morning, Aponequid Regional High School has made it to the Division III state semis. They defeated Drake at 6-1 on June 6th. The fifth-seeded Lakers, they're one step away from playing a state title game at Polar Park in Worcester. They got to get through Hanover first in the semifinal. That will be tomorrow. Stay tuned. That should be a really interesting and fun matchup between those two. Could potentially set up a state final between Aponequid and Middleboro. That would be fun. Those two teams, they already have kind of a rivalry of sorts in football. You know, every year it's like the first game on the schedule for Middleboro. It's Aponequid. And those two teams are, usually a good game happens between those two teams. So why not add another sport to that rivalry? Baseball. And what a way to do it in a state title game. That would be a very interesting thing. Middleboro, of course, is in the semis. They defeated Fairhaven last night. They will face Weston, number 15 Weston, in the state semis. So there is your local baseball going on there. That should be, again, really fun semifinals on both sides. Really fun semifinals on both sides. Weston is kind of the underdog. Everyone loves an underdog story. 15th ranked. That is going to be very, very interesting for sure. Weston versus Middleboro. Should be a fun matchup. Now we go over to the majors. The Red Sox will look to hopefully do a little bit better in this series. I'm kind of not too hopeful, honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you. They'll start a series with the Rays. I believe it's a 3-game series. 6:40 p.m. You can hear that on WEI. Watch it on Nesson. It's gonna be on MLB TV as well. 6:40 p.m. first pitch, and it will be at Tropicana Field at St. Petersburg, Florida. There, and I don't know where the Rays are going to play in the 2030s. I really don't know. There is continuing to be a soap opera of sorts between the Rays and city officials in Tampa and the state of Florida itself. Governor DeSantis is involved. It's a nightmare there when it comes to the Rays situation. I don't know what will happen. I really don't know. I don't know if they'll stay in Tampa. I don't know if they'll go to Orlando. That's been talked about several times. there was a ownership group in place apparently at one point for a potential Orlando team. One of those names being John Morgan, who I'm sure everyone has heard or seen his face everywhere on billboards, on TV. The big lawyer in the country. I believe he's based out of Florida. And he was part of the ownership at one point. And then he backed out, and then nothing else has happened with the Orlando situation there. So I don't know what will happen there. It's something to keep a pretty close eye on, I'm sure. Because, again, the Rays are in our division. That's a big deal if they move. Because once again, the Rays are in our division. If they move to, like, Nashville, per se, I don't believe that's going to happen. But if it does, that's a big thing. That is a massive thing. I think at worst, they will move to Orlando. At the best, they get a situation where they're in Tampa at a new stadium somewhere or in that county somewhere where it's going to work. It just hasn't worked out yet, and it's kind of been a nightmare for the Tampa Bay Rays. The United Bowl for the UFL is going to be this weekend. It's Saturday, June 13th, 3 p.m. start on ABC. And this match doesn't excite me that much. No Birmingham Stallions. Nothing like that. No Battlehawks. You're just kind of looking at two teams that, honestly, just looking at the record alone, I haven't watched these two teams throughout the season. Okay, but just looking at these records alone, we're probably going to get a mediocre United Bowl. I hate to say that, but the DC Defenders are 5-5. If they were good, if they were this really, really good team, they wouldn't be 5-5. Obviously, there's probably some luck involved in there. Louisville, they're a first-year team, I believe. They are slightly better at 6-4. I've seen Louisville play. I think they're pretty good. I would give the game to Louisville. We'll have to see what happens in this one. If anyone has any thoughts on what this United Bowl is gonna entail, give us a call, 508-822-1106. I've talked about the Little Spinners several times here on recent shows. They have a game. Actually, it's underway now. Let's give you a quick little kind of live update on it. Looking at it. They are actually up. They're ahead in the bottom of the second. They're up 1-0 against Vermont right now in the bottom of the second. They're at home taking on the Vermont Lake Monsters. So that good start. Good game. Looking for their fourth win. So we'll see what happens there. The Brockton Rocks will be in Canada tomorrow. They're taking on the Ottawa Titans. Both of these teams aren't amazing. Just looking at their record. But it's an important game nonetheless. Important game, especially for the Rocks. If they win it, they're at 500. So that's going to be important for them. Of course, we've talked about the NBA Finals. Spurs versus the New York Knicks. Game 3 is tonight. It's a big one, not just for the not just for the basketball being played on the court, but for the people who are going to be there. Mayor Zoran Mondani is going to be there. The President of the United States is going to be there. Donald Trump, the first time that has happened at an NBA game. This is the first NBA Finals game. We'll take a phone call here in just a second. It's the first NBA Finals game in New York since 1999. I was either not born yet or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days old. So yeah, there you go. So it's a pretty important game for the New York Knicks tonight. Gets underway at Madison Square Garden at 8:30 on ABC. Let's take this phone call and say good morning, caller.
How can anybody watch that game of basketball when Vince McMahon takes everybody to Paris, France tonight on Netflix?
Oh, is this Monday Night Raw tonight on Paris? In Paris?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be watching that.
The same old routine.
I think I'm gonna be watching that more than I'm gonna watch the NBA Finals. I'd rather not watch a game where they're probably going to have the cameras on either Donald Trump or Zoran Mamdani every 5 minutes. I'd rather watch the game, please. In my opinion,
He's got Ronda Rousey in front of the White House.
they do this to. I had the same complaint when the Chiefs do this. When the NFL does this with the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. So it's not just.
Listen, I get up in the top rope, right, Joey?
Yep.
When he was at WrestleMania 4 and 5, Trump was sitting in the front row with the other girlies, and I jumped off the rope, and unbelievable, I hit him in the temple, and he's been sitting in front of him, and it's unbelievable.
So what do you think of what's going on with WWE? What do you think of their product here as we head into the summer? Do you think it's good, or do you think it's stale with some of the reintegration of some of the storylines that we've had in the past couple of years, especially the Bloodline? Do you think it's stale, or do you think it's exciting?
I'll tell you something. I think there's going to be a new wrestler coming in pretty soon. If I can get on a chance and find out where he is, and I got a call from he texts me, and I can't get back to him. Mike Toomey, if you're out there, call me up at 508-588-3425. I'll tell you, Mike Toomey is a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, and he followed me to Boston Garden and somehow got into professional wrestling, and I hold no grudges, Mike. So I'm telling you, this kid is something else. He became a referee. He traveled to France. He's traveled everywhere. I'll tell you, he's a real good guy. And I went to Poughkeepsie, New York with him. Me and Mike are good friends. And he knows this guy by the name of Stewie Kaplan. And Stewie always wanted to be a wrestler. And Stewie, if you can, come on up to the VFW and join the VFW at June 26th. I think it is June 26th at Revival. We got Vinny Mastella coming back again, Joey.
What is it his name? From TNA? Yeah.
Vinny, he's
yes.
coming back.
Yeah, from The Righteous.
Everybody loves Vinny. Who do you mean?
Yes. They're tearing it up in TNA. They're doing a really good job in TNA. TNA, when it comes to their tag team division, is really good right now. So TNA is doing a really good job. Now, a lot of people are sounding the alarm on TNA because they just released 2 wrestlers, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is signaling a bad time for TNA." I don't think so. I mean, every company has situations where they release wrestlers.
I remember when TNA started out, I was switching the channels, and all of a sudden I saw this 6-sided ring. I said, "What the heck kind of ring is that?" I hate to put that thing up.
Yeah, I mean, the 6-sided ring thing was an interesting concept. It's very unique when it comes to the wrestling world. The 6-sided ring, it would never work today. There's been talks about bringing that back. That would never work today. I think it's a safety thing. I think mostly. I just don't think that would work. I don't think it would look really that pleasing on a television screen nowadays either. But so we'll see what happens. But wrestling's in a good place right now, I think, in my opinion. WWE, at times can be kind of stale, but at other times the pay-per-views can be exciting. I watch a lot of the pay-per-views, and I think I don't have any problem with any of the pay-per-views. But Before we let you go, what else is going on, Democratic Cowboy?
Well, the graduation of high school went off with a bang.
Yes.
Graduated and brought the high again.
Yes. Talking about graduations quite a bit this week on WBB.
And the rubbish fee is going up. So more rubbish is going to CMAS down there in Middleboro.
Yeah.
The rubbish fee is going up. The Republic put the rubbish fee up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're building a brand new kind of sports center in back of the VFW club. So maybe we'll transport everything over to the sports center. I don't know if that's the sports center arena or what it is. Lally's Ward.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, yeah, there's a lot going on for sure in Brockton and in other towns as well. Middleboro just had a pretty big week as well. So a lot going on.
Hey Joey, when's the Cranberry Festival coming back in Middleboro?
Cranberry Crantoberfest is usually, I believe it's is it October? No, it's October. No, I believe it already happened. I believe it was in April. No, there's a lot of events coming up in Middleboro for October.
I like that. I like that Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I believe October. I believe there is an Oktoberfest at Nemasket. There. At Oliver Mill Park. There we go.
They had a 16-hand horse, and I need one of them
I'm not sure.
to sort of ride. Mm-hmm. So, but some of these, a bunch of girls were showing up their horses, and I was going to get up on the horse and have my picture taken with a selfie. So.
Well, I'll check the schedule as to what's going on in Middleboro for October, because I know there's a couple of big events that are happening in October. But yeah, there's a lot going on in Middleboro, of course, and a lot going on this summer as well. In a couple of weeks, the Carnival will be back, of course. So that'll be huge as well. But I want to thank you, Democratic Cowboy.
You know, there's stuff going on. When's the tall ship's going to go through the canal?
Tall ships, I don't know when that's happening. I gotta look at that. I don't really have time to look at that on this show. But if you tune in on Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to actually I'll do it Friday. If you tune in from 9 to 11 on Friday, I'll do that somewhere in that time frame for Hometown Talk. So stay tuned for that. But Democratic Cowboy, I gotta let you go. We're running a little short on time.
Thank you very much for letting me talk. That's Radio Free Brockton here. I'm telling you, we lost our radio station. You know, they came up the Salisbury River and took our radio station. You know, Darren Court and all his friends. Mm-hmm. You know, we hate it. We got you, thank God. So.
All right, thank you so much, Democratic Cowboy. Thank you so much. Give us a call on Friday.
I will, Joey. Have a good day.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. That was Democratic Cowboy giving us a call for a couple minutes, talking about what's going on in Brockton, talking a little wrestling with us as well. Let's end the show today by talking about our transportation topic. So the World Cup is this week. MBTA Foxborough Station is now open. Their improvements have been unveiled at a ribbon cutting ceremony. There has been a lot of improvements to Foxborough Station to make that station ADA compliant, and also to kind of raise the ability to have many more trains go through there, because there's gonna be a lot of trains that go through that area over the next couple of weeks as World Cup happens as well. So those improvements were big and very, very important. So that is a pretty big thing as well. The MBTA in Boston have announced plans for a summer street closure as well. Summer street closures during the World Cup. The city and state entities have come up with a plan. As part of the plan, the MBTA announced on Tuesday that Summer Street will entirely be closed to vehicular traffic between Dorchester and Atlantic Avenues for 8 hours on the following World Cup match days: Saturday, June 13th, Friday, June 19th, Monday, June 29th, Thursday, July 9th. For matches held Tuesday, the 16th of June, Tuesday, the 23rd, Friday, the 26th, Summer Street will be open to vehicular traffic on the westbound and or north side only. This section of Summer Street, it sits directly in front of South Station, will be closed to vehicular traffic during all of those matches. So right in front of South Station, Summer Street will be closed for all 7 matches. So keep that in mind as well if you're traveling down there. So there you go. That is the show today. Middleboro Matters, June 8th, 2026. This show was taped today. It will be replayed when I'm during my vacation time. I'm going to be gone from June, the end of my shift on June 21st to coming back on July 3rd. So this show will be replayed on one of the Mondays for Middleboro Matters. So while I'm gone, so stay tuned for that. And bye-bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your week and a great rest of your Monday. Bye. Bye-bye.
We are AM 1530, WVBF, Middleboro, Taunton, and W259DD, Middleboro Center, 99.7 FM, your hometown radio station.
Aaron Boxerman, Bernard Butt, and Roman Bergen. Here's the latest.
What's
this one? Ready to wind down a military escalation that briefly shattered a fragile
fix everything.
and brought the Middle East back.
Okay, let me go here and end the stream. Oh, that would be helpful. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Come on.